Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to finally do my first impressions of Even Though We're Adults by Takako Shimura. If you know me, you know that I love Takako Shimura, and I will buy anything released in English by her in hopes that one day we will finally get the full series of Wandering Sun. At this point reprinted, because most of the volumes that were printed, the 8 of them that were, are out of print now anyway. But I missed out on that, and obviously they didn't finish it. So I will purchase anything that comes out. And I finally purchased the first volume, and this is a 7 Seas release, which I was surprised about. Based on the price of it, I assumed it was a Kodansha release, but it's not. It's in the size, like general 7 Seas size, which I really like, the smaller kind of trim. I love this size. It takes up less space. I don't think every volume of manga needs to be an oversized print, and this is just a really cute volume with a lovely color scheme. The back is really simple but very cute. And so this one is obviously about adult women. It is a girls' love title, Yuri title, about this woman here, Ayano, and another woman named Akari. And I believe they both, it doesn't say on the back, but I believe at some point it says that they're both like 36-ish years old, 35 years old. So not like, teenagers, and not like 20-somethings. They're grown women who are experiencing life. And Akari seems to be kind of out lesbian. She seems familiar with having relationships with women and comfortable with that, but she seems to gravitate towards women who are not available, or who are kind of playing with her feelings or not really serious. And so she has a habit of falling for women who end up just being with men in the end anyway. And whether that means they're bisexual or that they, were just experimenting with her, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that she got hurt in the process. And so she meets Ayano at a bar, and they end up going home together. It escalates like real quick, and they're obviously attracted to each other. And then we find out that Ayano is married, and to a man. And Akari's like, how did I do this again? How did I fall for another woman who is not available? Why did she let this happen if she's already married? And the husband seems like a lovely guy, and it's just a really interesting kind of introduction to the dynamic that we'll hopefully see play out going forward. Backgrounds are lovely. Character designs, I enjoy Takako Shimura's style. She does have a tendency to make faces look very similar in some of her series. So I'm hoping that, as more characters get introduced, that we don't end up seeing, confusion, because I've had that issue in the past. I know that Takako Shimura is not perfect. I know that her manga are not perfect. However, I really enjoy them. And this one is already suffering from her habit of jumping around timelines, and it's confusing. This one is less confusing than Sweet Blue Flowers, but I can see the sprinklings of confusion happening, because we start off with them in the bar, and then all of a sudden we're like pushed into another timeline. And then we are seeing that from the teacher's perspective, and then all of a sudden we're in Akari's perspective, and it's just like, I don't understand why Takako Shimura doesn't just like focus. I have a feeling like I just have this impression that she's just like wants to do so much at the same time, because Sweet Blue Flowers did the same thing. It was jumping around timelines, it was jumping around characters, and you're like, wait, who are we focusing on? And the problem with that is that a lot of her characters, like I said, the faces look very similar. And so this one, we only really have 3 characters in the mix at this point, one of which is a man who looks very different from these 2 women, and these 2 have different hair colors, so you're not confused. But something like Sweet Blue Flowers, which had so many high school girls in it, and two different schools it was dealing with. It just got confusing. So this one hopefully will not have as large of a cast, and hopefully will focus a bit more, but I can see the beginnings of that happening here, because right off the bat, within like the first 20 pages, we had already jumped a timeline, and then we jumped characters, and it was like, okay. But at least I knew what to expect, because I've read, I've read Takako Shimura's works before, so I knew kind of what to expect, and was a bit more prepared to be a bit thrown off and confused. That being said, the art is wonderful, charming. If you do not like stories about cheating, this one's not for you. However, I do like that the husband is, like, she's up front with him. She's like, hey, I got this crush, and I don't really know what it's about, and I don't know where it's gonna go, and she's really pretty. And even he was like, yeah, no, she's really pretty. I don't know how I can compete with that, and I don't know what you want, right? So I think it will be interesting. This is not a new story by any means. Like, the story of a woman falling for a woman who's married to a man, and shenanigans ensue, is not a new concept. However, I don't dislike this trope or this story. I also really like the stories where the man is not an asshole. And so far, the husband actually seems like a really lovely guy. Though, of course, things can change as, things escalate here. But so far, I really like Akari. I think that she's just troubled. I think that she's confused. I think that she just wants love, and she wants to be able to love somebody. And she just keeps getting into these situations with women who just don't want to commit or can't commit for whatever reason. And she's just like, I can't do this again. But there's clearly an obvious attraction that they're both aware of. And Ayano, I don't know how I feel about her. I really don't know how I feel about her. But the husband, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sure that she's going to go for this woman regardless of your feelings. So you better make a decision on whether or not this is okay with you. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out. I am excited that this was licensed. I hope to see more of her works here in the future. I wonder if this is going to get super explicit. Takako Shimura's works don't typically get like graphic, but they do have sexual themes. She does not shy away from bodies. They're not like explicitly portrayed, but I think of like Wandering Sun, about puberty, of course. You get wet dreams, you get discussions about sex and things like that. Sweet Blue Flowers, same thing. There were scenes of the girls sleeping together, not super explicit scenes, but you knew it was happening. She's not afraid to have her characters be sexually active or be, explore their bodies or explore relationships and stuff like that. And that's kind of one of the things I really like. Is it's pretty sex positive, even, and without being like overly explicit. It doesn't feel like fan service. It feels like, no, these are people, and a lot of people have sex, and that's just a thing that happens, and our bodies do things, and this is the thing. So that's what I like about her stories, and especially her LGBT stories, of course, because they portray queer relationships in a way that feels authentic to me. Yeah, I just really enjoy her works, and I'm glad to have this. Can't wait for the next volume, but these are my first impressions. I really enjoy it, though I am biased, and I will admit that. I do recommend you give it a shot if you like girls' love stories, and especially if you want one about adults, because this one is certainly about adults. So yeah, if you've read this, love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.